Okay, welcome everyone. We'd like to invite you to grab a seat if you can, please. All right, well, welcome everyone to Claudia Morataya's Celebration of Life. My name is Edwin Serrano, and I'm joined by
Brittany Welsh.
And we'll be the program's MCs. Just to start, I want to name that friends from work are heaven sent. And I'm not talking about HR. I'm talking about, I think from above, right? We're all gathered here today because we cross paths in this journey called life with Claudia at some point of her career at USC. I always say you spend more time with our colleagues at work than with the people we love, our friends and family, right? That's more than 8 hours sometimes for some of us, especially in hospitality. And we see them daily. And the funny thing is that most people actually hate their coworkers, right? But here at USC, I think we're blessed to say the opposite, right? This is what they call the Trojan family. Look around you. These are the people who come to the rescue when the going gets rough, the ones who learn to work with you or around you, and the people you laugh with over lunch or when you made that oopsies mistake, right? There truly is a special place in our hearts for those friends we make at work. And this is why we want to honor the great impact Claudia had at USC, and Brittany will share more about the program today.
It is so meaningful to see so many of us together here to celebrate the life and contributions of such an incredible woman. Claudia touched the lives of everyone she worked with here at USC and left a legacy that won't ever be forgotten. All the people here surrounding us and those coming up to share their reflections in a bit are a testament to the type of person Claudia was and the gravity of her impact at USC. We will begin today's program with reflections from those who were a part of Claudia's journey here, from her beginnings at Marshall through her time with USC Hospitality. We will hear words of comfort from Father Joe Kim, who joins us from the USC Caruso Catholic Center, and see a special presentation for members of the family. At the end of today's celebration of life, we are all invited to be together for food and fellowship on the patio. To start today's program, I'd like to invite Professor Tommy Knapp from the Marshall School of Business to begin our reflections.
Good afternoon. Well, thank you. Crazy day, as we all know, and the first thing that came to my mind when I think about Claudia was just how thankful I am. To just have met her on my journey as we talk about this journey, and a journey that probably our paths wouldn't have normally crossed in different situations, but we came to campus, and I remember very vividly, those of you, most of us know campus pretty well, going down the stairs to Bridge Hall. They called it the garden level, but of course it really was the basement. No one knew. And I walk in my first day to teach, and there's that smile. There's Claudia right there greeting me at the Greif Center. And those of you who all know Claudia, I took that smile as, oh, it's great. But also we know that smile had that little twinkle in the back, like, I'm not so sure about you. We'll give you a little, we'll kind of see how this all plays out. And I figured that out. It took me a while till I figured that out. But Claudia, as everyone knows, could do anything, could do everything, and would for all of us. And so as I got there, and I was an adjunct professor, and then a visiting, an assistant professor, Claudia was someone that I could count on at all times. And I just always admired that, and she always put others first. She always put, whether it was students, she always put students first, whether it's faculty, whatever, she was there to make sure that those things happened. And she always did that for me and always helped me do that. And we just built this great friendship that that I can't describe, but it was times, at the end of the day or different things like that, or we'd have lunch together and we would just always look at how could we do things better or different or things like that. And she always wanted to try to help get that through. And I really appreciated that. What's funny is I was a professor and she was working in the office. And I think as I look back at my time with Claudia, she taught me way more than I taught others. I learned from Claudia, so much about how important it is to treat others well. I learned so much about how going that extra mile, how to make sure that we do things right, how we take that extra time to make sure that we're doing things right. And then I learned respect. She always had respect for all those that she worked with and that she was around, and that was so important. We all know the love of her life was Jesse, Mackie, and Abby. Those are absolutely the complete love of her life. And it was so fun to watch them come to the office and do homework and then head on to college and do all those great things. And she was so proud of all that they've done. It's tough for all of us, but I'll tell you, I'm just so thankful that she was part of my little journey. I'm going to miss her. We're all going to miss her, but I'm going to more celebrate all those great times. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Now, Sandra, thank you. Thankfully, is on her way up. Sandra, who is also one of her very, very closest friends at Marshall. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tommy. Unlike Tommy, I'm not going to wing it. I actually wrote something. So let me read it to you guys. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Vega, and I work at the Marshall School of Business. I would like to thank you all for coming here and celebrating the memory of a woman we all know and love. Claudia is a mom to Jessica, McKamey, and Abigail. She's a daughter of Mario and Alba, sister to Theo, granddaughter, niece, aunt, Nana to Jacob, Oscar's partner, Ruth and Laura's best friend, a dedicated employee of USC, a friend to you all, and she was my close friend. We come to work to provide for our families. Along the way, we strike up conversations with colleagues, and if we're lucky, they turn into work friends. Once every great while, they become close friends. Well, that was the case with Claudia. Claudia and I met a little after my twin daughters came into my life over 13 years ago. She walked into the Vice Dean's suite in Bridge Hall and said, "Hi, I'm Claudia Morataya. I'm the administrative assistant downstairs in Greif. And I heard you have twin babies, so I got you diapers." And she had a big old smile on her face. But that was Claudia. She was caring, loving, and extremely generous. I wish I could remember how we started having lunch together, but it was so long ago. We would sit out in the breezeway and talk our entire lunch hour every single day. We'd talk about things we were working on. We'd give each other tips on how to improve or do things differently. And most times we talk about our families. This is also when I learned how big of personality Claudia had, how sweet she was, and how she loved coming up with nicknames for everyone. Over time, other colleagues came and went, but we stayed consistent. In fact, our friendship grew much closer. Before we knew it, we were attending events together and meeting each other's families and friends. She knew my immediate family, cousins, and best friend, and every single time we got together, she made sure to ask how my children, parents, siblings, and best friend were doing. She would even ask about my best friend's kids by name. She wouldn't ask just to ask. She genuinely cared. You know that saying, how you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends? Well, I like to think that for some reason she chose me as her friend. Perhaps because we were both mothers, had similar roles at Marshall, or maybe, just maybe, she liked how honest and vulnerable we could be with each other. She had a big personality and an even bigger heart. She was caring, funny, genuine, made you feel like you were part of her family, and as you've known her your entire life. She had this way that made you feel comfortable, and at the same time, she told you how it was. I was at awe with Claudia. She was one of the strongest women I've ever known, and she was brave. If you were to ask any of her friends who Claudia was, I'm certain that they'd say she was strong, an amazing mother, a hard worker, and always made sure you were okay. When she accepted the position as executive assistant in hospitality services, I was sad, but I was so proud of her. In all honesty, she was scared to leave Greif, but when she did, a new Claudia was born. I watched her grow professionally, and she made a lot of new friends. In fact, I feel like I already know many of you through her stories. She spoke so highly of everyone in hospitality, and she was happy. I would like to thank Jessie, Mackie, and Abby for allowing us, her USC friends, the ability to be with her one last time and tell her what she meant to us. Thank you, girls. I refuse to believe that this is the end. I don't want to believe that this is the end of our friendship. I want to hear about your lives and how you're doing, or how your mom yelled at you over something you did or didn't do. After all, that's what moms do. We nag at our children. Never forget that your mom loves you very much. You three were her reason. She was extremely proud of you and all your achievements. Just look around the room. Your mom has a lot of people that genuinely care for her and in turn care for you too. We want to continue celebrating your achievements and be a shoulder for you when you need to talk. I know that time is supposed to heal all wounds, but it really hurts. A piece of me died with my friend, and I know that many of you feel the same way. I'm gonna miss seeing her around campus, driving around with her head held high in the golf cart. I'm gonna miss driving off campus for lunch. I can't see. I'm gonna miss calling her when something good or bad happens. I'm gonna miss her voice, her big cheesy smile with that reddish burgundy lipstick. I'm gonna miss her smart-ass comebacks, her hugs and kisses on the cheek. I'm gonna miss her saying, "Hola muchacha," and "Adios muchacha." But most of all, I'm gonna miss my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra and Tommy, for those beautiful words. Now we're going to transition to her time here with USC Hospitality. I'd like to introduce Chris Klinger, the former Assistant Vice President for USC Hospitality and Hotel, to the podium.
Good afternoon. I wrote down stuff so I wouldn't forget what I was going to say because I might lose it. Anyways, no matter how prepared or organized I thought I was, Claudia always caught one or two details that I would have missed. She was always there looking out for me and for our team. Despite always being busy and juggling multiple responsibilities, Claudia had time for others, particularly my crazy and untimely needs, wants, and requests. And she would always make time, and with a smile. She put others first, and always looked out for others before herself. There wasn't anything she wouldn't do if you asked her to do it. And she did a lot of things for me that helped me stay grounded and focused while I was working with her and the team. There's nothing that she wouldn't do. for USC Hospitality and USC Auxiliaries and for USC. I think Tommy for introducing me to Claudia, and then eventually, stealing her away. But she still stayed, as part of the Marshall family, and then her family grew with the USC Hospitality and the USC Auxiliaries family. It was interesting, we spent, even before we spent a bunch of time together, she was able to finish my sentences and anticipate my needs, because she just cared and wanted to figure things out and help. And so one of Claudia's goals, I believe, in life was to help others. And based on what I see here and the stories that we've already heard and the additional stories that we'll hear, she was very successful at that, at putting others first. She joined USC Hospitality in 2014, and again made a huge impact in our world and in our space. She brought a lot of institutional knowledge thanks to her time at Marshall, but the energy and the smile and the work ethic, what she brought to us, and the example that she set was hard to duplicate and or emulate. She helped us with our meetings. They became more organized, but more fun. She'd have all kinds of snacks and things for us, and even little fidget spinners and things like that that kept us going. She always thought of like the extra thing and went the extra mile. And that's not something that everybody does and or can do consistently. And she consistently did that. Over time, she took on more and more responsibility. In the beginning, she worked with me, and then she started supporting Dirk and the rest of hospitality, and then for a while, all of auxiliaries. And she never said no. She never ever said no, no matter what we asked her to do. And quite often, she'd even find things to do before we could ask her to do them, because that's how she was wired. She would make our meetings and gatherings again more memorable, and she was, very private. And I felt fortunate to be able to break into the private world a little bit, and I got to, spend a good amount of time with Abby when she would come and visit us and do her homework, in the office. I nicknamed her Mini Me because I saw like a mini Claudia in her, and she's grown up quite nicely. So, after school, Abby would stop and do her homework, and it was always fun to hang out and spend time with her. And then another thing that Claudia did is she took amazing care of, all of the auxiliaries and hospitality people, but also my family. And we all know, family is important. And, my parents would come to visit, and she'd make sure that everything was taken care of for them and my boys. If they were coming, she'd make sure that whatever they needed was okay. And if, they came in and it was hot out, she'd get them a bottle of water, and always thinking about what else she could do. I'm grateful for the time that I had with Claudia. And I really look fondly on the memories that we had, and it's fun to watch the pictures scroll through. And I'm sure, after I heard the news, I spent a lot of time on my phone looking through all of the pictures that we had and all the fun times that we had together, and that amazing smile that just lit up a room and made everything okay. So I look forward to seeing her again someday, and I can't wait to see her and give her a big hug and let her know that I missed her. But I look forward to that, and I'm, as Tommy said, I'm grateful that she was part of our life, that we were able to spend as much time as we did with her, and for all of the amazing things that she did, for us and everyone else that whose lives that she interacted with. So thank you very much. I'm going to invite Erica Chesley up for a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. I was an AD in hospitality when Claudia joined the team in 2014. She was our, let's see, third executive administrator since Chris and I both started in 2009. So do the math on that one. 2014 to 2009, there were 3 executive administrators under Chris's leadership. Now, at the time, I was the only female in the group, and we became fast friends. Claudia called me amiga more often than she called me Erica. Our unwritten motto in hospitality is, we get stuff done. You can change the stuff out for another word, but you know what I mean, right? And Claudia was a get stuff done type of person, and I think that's why she stuck and why she stayed with us for so many years. Claudia was a great planner. She was a proactive thinker. She was a problem solver. She was a take charge person. I believe these are all traits that we can agree that she possessed. Would you agree with me? Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I loved about Claudia is she did not mince words. She was a straight talker and was authentic with the advice that she would give, whether it was professional or whether it was personal. Like most of you in the room, I have war stories of us working together in the trenches together and all of the shenanigans that went along with all of those work traumas, whether it was LSS, town halls, or our legendary holiday parties, which I know many of you in the room remember our legendary holiday parties. Claudia was there with her velvet hammer and her strong work ethic. During the Mass on Saturday, the priest said Claudia had many gifts that she shared with her family and friends, and I want to talk just for a quick moment about some of those gifts. The first one is that she made you feel special. She knew your children's names. She knew your spouse's names, even if you didn't like them. The fact was you thought you were special because she remembered those intimate details about your life, but then you realized that it wasn't just you, it was everybody. She was like that with so many people. So at the end of the day, we weren't special. She was a special person for making us feel that way. The second thing is Claudia's generous nature. She was generous of her time, her talents. If you needed something, if you needed access to something, you needed a person, she was always there and she always came through. In 2020, I think Phil Turner and I convinced her to join staff assembly as if she didn't have enough on her plate already. But she graciously accepted, she ran and she joined the staff assembly and was very active, helping others, helping other staff members. On the day of her passing, her family allowed us to spend extended time with them and also with her at the hospital. A very intimate space normally reserved only for family. I recognized in that moment that Claudia's generous spirit wasn't self-taught. It was in her DNA, influenced by her loving and caring family. Thank you so much for letting Dirk and Tommy and for the rest of us to be there on that day with her. In closing, Chris mentioned about Abby being Claudia's mini-me. After the service on Saturday, I was at the repast and I was just kind of standing in the back, waiting to make sure that the family was all seated and taken care of. I was talking to Lyra, and Abby was walking, and I could tell that she was going to do something, but I hadn't talked with her. And so I stopped her and, just to check in, make sure she was okay, tell her how beautiful the service was and how proud Claudia would have been. And before I could even say what I needed to say, Abby immediately said, "You don't have a seat? We need to find you a seat." She was just like so engaged and worried about finding me a seat. And after she walked away, I caught my breath and I was like, that's Claudia. Like, that's what Claudia would do. Claudia would see a need and stop whatever she was doing to try to fix it. So thank you so much, Mackie and Abby, for sharing your mom. We are better because we had Claudia in her life. Please know that you have us as family always. Next up, Dan Stimler.
So there's some reoccurring themes starting to emerge, mostly about Claudia. But Chris stole Claudia from Tommy. I stole Claudia from Chris for a period of time. We all think, Abby, you're the next Claudia. I had not seen Abby since the days in our office doing homework before she went to college. She walked up, gave me a huge hug, and I said, "Did your mom kill you for that nose ring?" Because that's what Claudia would have done. And I felt Claudia in me at that moment when I saw you. But good afternoon. Thank you for coming to celebrate, remember, and honor Claudia. I'm Dan Stimler. I'm the Vice President of Auxiliary Services here at USC. I've had the honor of working with and next to Claudia for a very long time. Claudia and I worked together in a suite with many of you for many years, but Claudia and I shared a common wall, literally a common wall. You can imagine how well we got to know each other through that common wall. As you know, she was dedicated to her work and those who worked with her. She managed terrific amounts of work, never shying away from long hours, sometimes 6 to 7 days a week. That is just the nature of our business, all days, nights, and weekends when needed. Claudia never shied away from any of it, and her effort was greatly appreciated. Ironically, Claudia called me boss, always with a huge smile and a confident beam that showed anyone around her that she was the real boss. And I think you all know that. The thing I valued the most about Claudia and will miss immensely was her insider knowledge about everyone and everything happening in and around the businesses we run. From top to bottom, she knew who were the good eggs in the organization and who weren't. As meetings in my office ended and those I met with left, Claudia provided insight into the person, the situation, and the background for the meeting. She had all the insider knowledge. I have no idea how she knew everyone and everything going on, but thank God she did. Claudia wasn't afraid to be honest and have a hard conversation with me. More than once, she would inform me that a person I had just met with was a bad person, with horrible intentions, and advise me on the proper next steps that I should take. And that was all done from sincerity. She knew the good She knew the good in people. She knew the good they could do, and consistently aligned good people for good reasons with good results. Her batting average was 100%. Even though I sometimes question if she was right, I realized she always was as time went on. She also spoke Dan, which isn't easy or explainable. But Claudia could translate my often confusing thoughts and intentions in the best possible manner when I wasn't making clear sense, providing insight and direction to the team, always with an eye on the prize. Claudia somehow understood me. At times, I didn't even understand what I was trying to say or do. This was invaluable to me. She did all this with humility and honesty, with the auxiliary team as her priority. Claudia always wanted the best for USC and auxiliary services. She took it personally when someone didn't share the same desire and fiercely protected USC, auxiliary services, and me. This was the most outstanding quality at work. I will miss her passion, her love, and dedication to USC. But Claudia was the real boss. Claudia's daughter Abby and my son Hudson were born months apart. Claudia raised her 3 girls with the same passion as we witnessed with her work at USC. Many of my best parenting ideas came to me through the wall we shared over the years we were office together. All of my kids had personal relationships with Claudia, and since she was their work mom. She knew precisely my kids' favorite food, drink, and candy. And ironically, it was the same as what she stocked in the office kitchen. When any of my kids visited, they knew first to stop by Claudia's desk for any of their favorites. So last night I was on a call with my daughter McKenna, who lives in New York City. She reminded me how Claudia always stocked dried mangoes, chocolate-covered almonds, and gummy bears. Her favorite is dried mangoes from seeds, and Claudia knew this. After McKenna graduated from USC, and our office was moved from Suite 404 to Suite 400, we had to pack and move cases of uneaten dried mangoes because Claudia was prepared at all times and was never not going to have them available. Again, Claudia was the boss. But in closing, I want to share with you what I've learned through the loss of loved ones over the years, because it becomes a gift for us to keep and have going forward. So when my dad passed away, I learned that although he was no longer around to guide and counsel me in person, I knew inside precisely what he would say to me and what advice he would give. Similarly, Claudia is no longer with us, but I know what her opinion is in every situation, what her suggested next steps would be, and what she expects from each and every one of us moving forward. This is the legacy of Claudia, is leaving behind the legacy of a boss. And I just want to add one last thing. Claudia was also very funny. And on a past Boss Appreciation Day, one of the made-up holidays, she gifted me these socks with her face on it. And that was just, literally, Claudia. And, here's a made-up holiday, and here's her socks. So I will miss her immensely, but I feel very honored to have known her. And I'd like to invite Dirk up to say a few words.
Good afternoon. I did make prepared remarks to get through this. Thank you all for showing up with so many. Once again, showing the warmth and support from the entire Trojan family. I'm so glad to see all of you here, an enormous crowd, so many familiar faces from the past. On an occasion like this, to show that love and care of the Trojan family, which is a real thing, which I have discovered over the last year and over the last 2 weeks yet again. Really glad that we can honor and celebrate the life and legacy of Claudia here today. Want to especially welcome Claudia's daughters, Abby, Mackie, as well as her fiance, Oscar, and all of her family and friends. We got to know each other over the last couple of weeks, and it's an amazing family unit that you all, contribute to. And, as Erica said, it's amazingly meaningful for us to be able to share some of these moments with you throughout the last couple of weeks. I hope that today's celebration will help you and all of us here in the room or watching the live stream in giving comfort and strength during this difficult time. As I believe she's looking at us from above, and I feel her spirit present here, I know that she's filled with pride to see how many people showed up for her today. Yes, this is all for you, boss. Claudia was the true heart, with a capital H, of hospitality, and she showed that in many ways. In 2020, she moved to the USC Hotel with me, and she was thrilled to get her own private office. It instantly got filled with many family pictures and always was decorated based on the season, such as Christmas, Easter, and her favorite theme, Halloween. You knew it. Claudia was generous, often bringing over café de olla for the team in the mornings, and something that she recently discovered, donut pupusas. She was also kind, for example, by bringing over long stem roses to the mothers in the housekeeping department on Mother's Day. Claudia was a team builder, setting up lunches or a happy hour to celebrate a new step in someone's career, or a baby shower when a team member was going on maternity leave, and she would bring over one of these baby diaper cakes. During COVID, when we had to have our management meetings on Zoom, she would text some of our associate directors present in the meeting and remind them to smile on camera. And I just thought they were smiling on my corny jokes. Little did I know. She was funny and had a great sense of humor. The best thing was to get her to laugh out loud, because she could laugh out loud and you could hear it through the walls of the offices. But most of all, as you've already heard, she was a strong woman who was extremely dedicated to the success of hospitality and the hotel. Over the last 5 years, we've gone through massive changes in the department, which weren't always easy. But through all these changes, Claudia was the one constant calming factor in the middle of it all, providing answers to questions, an encouraging word or advice, or figuring out a new way to become more efficient with a task because she was extremely resourceful. With hospitality being a very large department, which is spread out over 2 campuses, she humanized the organization, brought us all together, and personified hospitality for many. Through each of us who got a chance to speak today, and through the stories you shared with each other and with me over the last 2 weeks, her spirit that was filled with kindness, generosity, love of fun, and selflessness is shining through. It is extremely difficult to think about moving forward without her, but the best way to honor her legacy is to move past the sadness and be to each other what she meant to all of us. Although she's gone way too soon, we will make sure that her true spirit of hospitality lives on in each one of us. Bas, Hefe, rest in peace. We will continue to fight on in your honor. I'm now asking Father Joe to come up.
I was asked to offer some words of comfort, but rather than comfort, how about some words to honor honor Claudia and this time that we share together. From your presence here, from the stories and experiences that were shared by our speakers, and those experiences that you and the stories that you have yet to share with each other and those that you hold in your heart. I think they're evidence of things in our own life that remain and endure forever. The things that remain and endure forever, in this case, Claudia and who she was. And when they touch us, it changes us. And we miss it when it is no longer here with us. But we celebrate those moments. And as we bring our time, at least this formal time, to a close, I think it's right and fitting for us to honor this moment in our gathering, but to honor Claudia. So I'm going to invite you, just in a moment of silence in your own faith tradition, just to offer a prayer or just be with the thoughts of Claudia to honor her bringing us together today and sharing her life with us. And as we end this sacred and special time together, we do so, I'll do so with a prayer. And if you would like to, I invite you to pray with me as I offer these words for Claudia and for ourselves. Gracious God, creator of life, carrier of hope, make your presence known among us. Enable us to be brave in our remembering, honest in our sorrow, and open in love and compassion to each other. Help us to seek not so much answers to our questions, but rather the patience to mourn, to grieve, to celebrate. Help us, God, to focus on that which enables us to keep going. Remind us that we are not alone as we gather here together. Enable us to remember with joy and love the life of Claudia. We give thanks for the times and experiences that were shared with her, both the ups and downs of living life, but most of all, we are grateful for love which is stronger than death. Help us to bear our sorrow without bitterness, to look forward slowly, one day at a time, to gain some comfort from those who can help us ease our pain. We give thanks for all of our loved ones, for all the ways in which their lives touched ours, and for the ways in which their lives and their love continue to be with us. Be with us now as we encourage and support each other. We pray. Amen.
Now we'd like to invite Dirk back up to the stage.
We actually wanted to take a moment to present some gifts to the family, and I think I may need some help. Thank you.
Alrighty, so I'd actually like to invite you all to just sit with us while I introduce the mariachi Mexico por Siempre, who will be playing a number for us.
Tú eres la tristeza que mis ojos le lloran en silencio por tu amor. Me miro en el espejo y veo en mi rostro el tiempo que he sufrido por tu adiós. Obligo a que te olvide el pensamiento, pues siempre estoy pensando en el ayer. Prefiero estar dormida que despierta, de tanto que me duele que no estés. Como quisiera que tú vivieras, que tus ojitos jamás se hubieran cerrado nunca y estar mirándolos, amor eterno e inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos. Yo he sufrido tanto por tu ausencia Desde ese día hasta hoy no soy feliz. Y aunque tengo tranquila mi conciencia, sé que pude haber yo hecho más por ti. Obscura soledad estoy viviendo, la misma soledad de tu sepulcro. Tú eres el amor del cual yo tengo el más triste recuerdo de este mundo. Como quisiera ay, que tú vivieras, que tus ojitos jamás se hubieran cerrado nunca y estar mirándolos, amor eterno e inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos. La, ra, 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 la. La ra 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 la.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I would like now to propose a toast to celebrate the life and legacy of Claudia. Dear Claudia, may your spirit soar high and your memory be a guiding light in our lives. You will be deeply missed, but never forgotten, and in your honor, we will always fight on. Fight on. Thank you.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today in the celebration of life for Claudia Morataya. We are going to have the mariachi stay with us for a few more minutes, but we actually invite you all to join us in the patio for a small reception and, just be in community, because that is one of the most powerful tools when we're grieving. And so thank you all again for joining us. We will be here.
Como la flor, con tanto amor me diste tú, se marchitó, me marchó hoy. Yo sé perder, pero ay, cómo me duele. Yo sé que tienes un nuevo amor, sin embargo te deseo lo mejor. Si en mí no encontraste felicidad, tal vez alguien más te la dará. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú, se marchitó, me marchó hoy. Yo sé perder, pero ay, cómo me duele. Si vieras cómo duele perder tu amor, junto a Dios te llevas mi corazón. No sé si pueda volver a amar, porque te di todo el amor que pude dar. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú, se marchitó, me marchó hoy. Yo sé perder, pero ay, cómo me duele. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú, se marchitó, me marchó hoy. Yo sé perder, pero ay, cómo me duele. Ay, cómo me duele. Ay, cómo me duele. ¿Gusta que estemos caminando así alrededor o...?
me ha llamado para estar a su lado, así él lo quiso, pero yo nunca pensé que doliera tanto. Yo estoy en un lugar lleno de amor, donde existe paz, donde no hay maldad, donde al fin no puedo descansar. Es tan bello aquí. Quiero que seas feliz, que te vaya bien, y cuando te toque partir, espero verte aquí. Sí, cómo no. Yo ya me voy al puerto donde se halla la barca de oro que debe conducirme. Yo ya me voy. Solo vengo a despedirme. Dios, mujer.